all, thanks for tuning into my video. I am Justin Parr, and these are all of my best diving clips from 2023. Before we dive into the action, I want to thank all of the boat captains who allowed me and trusted me to be out on your boats with you offshore. And without you, none of this could be possible. I don't own a boat I can go out offshore on, so appreciate these guys. Chris Covington, #1 on the eye sturgeon. Appreciate you having me out all the time. Jim Coleman on the scooter, thank you, man. Hunter Heverly on the Aniston Quinn, thank you. John Cheshire, Brad Ickard, and his captain Drew Nicholson, and last but not least, Hayden Crabb. Thank you for having me out as well on your boat. Appreciate you all. So for everybody tuning in, I'll have my top clips from this year. I'll have linked videos for those who have had a video published, and there's some unpublished content, so I hope you're excited to dive in. Enjoy. All right, welcome back underwater, gang. Here we are, the first trip I went diving on in 2023, January 28th. We are out looking for wahoo, tuna, and what I see on this dive is a snapper mid-water column. Try to grunt to get it to come up and be curious and take my time. I'm about 60 feet deep here, waiting for the right opportunity, trying not to make too much noise. And I get my chance. So we're shooting on a breakaway setup. If you're familiar with these, you know what I mean. But if you're not, basically there's a big line and a float attached to the spear. My gun is not attached to the spear at all.
Stud mutton. Got him? What? I told you there was one.
My buddy Mark Winneberger, you'll see him throughout this and many of my videos.
Woohoo! I thought you had him, but I got a look.
Mark put a second shot in the fish, and we secured it before any sharks got it.
60 feet.
Stoking. There's Charlie Schotten and Mark on the left and right, and my fish. Stoked to catch this. These are prized fish here where we spearfish. Same day. Wanted to show you other highlights of this day. One is fending off this shark. I enjoy seeing sharks, at least when they're docile. I would call this shark docile, not aggressive. He was curious to what I was doing, but definitely not aggressive towards me. Checked me out and went back down. Next dive, didn't really dive much between January and the spring, so this is April 20th. We are out on Brad Ickard's boat, Drew Nicholson driving with a few other buddies. We were looking for wahoo, but we found a couple mahi swimming around. Yes, sharks are around. That's part of it. But today I would dive deep and then follow the fish up, it seemed. You know, I never got the chance to be level to level with the fish at depth. They would always go deep, and then as soon as I was deep, they'd swim back up. So this dive, I dove down, swam back up to chase the fish. I was a little bit worried about where my buddy was on the surface here, but I made sure I made a safe shot. John Dornellis here. And I hope I wasn't too close to you there, John, but I think we made a decent call. This was my first mahi. And it kind of went crazy. I had John put a second shot in it because my shot was not that solid, if you can see right there. Thanks, John. I know it's horrible having to shoot your gun out here when you're waiting for a wahoo, so I appreciate you.
Thanks. I didn't want to manhandle it. That's fine. This is the first mahi I've ever shot. Good, dude. You too? What's that? You too? No.
John is a very experienced diver, and I was thankful this day to gain some knowledge from diving with him. Drew got a mahi too, so Drew and I have doubled up here. Carl Bruback on the boat.
Yeah, it is.
Carl actually got our first wahoo of the day this day. Later in the day, same day, April 20th, it was my chance to get a wahoo. I had dropped my flasher, which is basically some PVC pipe wrapped in some reflective tape. Ulu Sub, the brand of my gun, makes great throw flashers and guns. So this is a Ulu Sub 145 rear handle. Went down, and the fish went up after I to a shallower depth as soon as I went down, so chased the fish up, and luckily got a shot. It was a little bit far, but it worked out for me.
That's a horrible shot.
I thought it was a bad shot, but you'll see later in this clip the shot was not that bad. I did call Carl over to put a backup shot in just to make sure we could secure the fish. We were worried about sharks. They were around all day today.
Carl, I'm gonna need a backup shot.
Coming in to check out the commotion right there. So I pulled the fish up to where we were straight above it, and it was coming shallower and shallower. Once we got it to a reasonable depth, Carl went down and put a backup shot in the fish. And then once the backup shot was in, we could manhandle and muscle the fish up. But
Hell yeah. Thanks, man.
even after having a backup shot and a large, like almost an immobile fish, still make sure the line doesn't get caught around my feet.
Well, my shot wasn't as bad as I thought.
Always bleed and gut and brain the fish every time. I did get some cool footage of the fish. Thanks, Carl, for taking some photos. All right, June 9th of 2023, straight into a lobster on almost my first dive. This was a pretty big lobster, a male with the big front legs. And I'm stoked. This was probably the best day of my year in 2023. We were out. This was the first time we were able to go out once grouper season opened. And you'll see the clips that we got this day were really good.
There's another one in there.
I was telling Chris that I saw one more lobster while I was down there, which was cool. Shortly after I dive down and we find what we're looking for, this grouper just staring me down on this ledge. Take my time, no sudden moves, give him a headshot. Didn't stone the fish, which I like to do, but it was a good shot. Now, I don't like leaving the fish down there to struggle, but we didn't see many sharks today, so I wasn't too worried.
Nice shot. Didn't take you long. No.
Thanks to dive buddies Chris and I believe that's Shane Wall down there checking out that fish. Thank you, Shane. To thank the fish. Without its sacrifice, and it wouldn't really be much fun for us. We like hunting and appreciate the meat we get out of these fish. So we brain the fish, and then we bleed the fish, and I don't put this on camera, but we'll take the guts out of the fish, so it will be as clean as possible. Shortly after that grouper, I found this lobster, so I was 2 for 2. Luckily, it didn't slip out of my hands there. That was pretty close. This was different type of bottom, not as like straight ledge. It was more kind of a zone of broken ledges, and it worked out. Coleman Allen there checking on me. Thanks, Coleman. Same day, guys, June 9th, and this is a banner day for me. I dive down on this ledge. There's all a bunch of grouper at the bottom if you look all around the bottom. But what caught my eye immediately was this hogfish about 5 or 10 feet off of the ledge. But there's grouper everywhere. There's this hogfish, and this was a really lively ledge. I was earlier this day using my 110 reef gun, and I wanted to test out at some deeper ledges this Ulu sub. I had just gotten it. Thank you, John, for sending this over. And thanks to my mom and dad and wife for buying it for me.
Excellent, buddy. There's a lot of fish down there.
Just claiming all the fish that are down there. And here's the hogfish after braining it, bleeding it, gutting it. All right, a little deeper this time. We're over 70 feet deep here, and more grouper are on the mind. We're only allowed 1 gag grouper per person, which is the first one I got, but these grouper that are at this ledge are called Scamp grouper, and I found one under the ledge here. Did not want to shoot directly into the rocks, so I was waiting my turn to have the fish be out where I can have the spear go out into the open. Got a good shot right behind the gill plate. I was not able to get the fish out during that dive, but I luckily had the chance to recover it. Shortly before this video, my friend Coleman caught the world record scamp on pole spear at this same ledge right here, and I'll link the video to that.
That was a little dumb, but it's a big scamp. Big scamp? Yeah. He's way in the rock? He's in the rocks. I shot him in the rocks.
Long way back down, so going back down probably around 75 or 80 feet at this ledge. And I knew the grouper had gone out this backside, so my plan was to approach from this backside, and luckily it worked out for me. I see him there, grab the shaft, force him out, hopefully making sure the shaft doesn't get caught on anything else. And once I get him out, I make sure he stays on the shaft, the slip tip there, but then I'm just kind of letting him hang and making myself get to the surface without issue. Once I got the fish out of the cave, I was not too worried about making sure I kept it in my hand. EJ stoking, thanks. Got the fish up, and it actually just ate something. Boop.
Look what it burped up. I know, that's crazy. Okay.
What a beautiful fish. They're hard to catch spearfishing, so anytime you get one is good. There's Coleman Allen. Oh no, that's Shane. But Coleman in the background there, current world record holder for the Scamp grouper on pole spear. All right, bonus footage, June 19th, 2023. My dog Wink, Bullwinkle, is out hanging out with my friend Jacob and I on an island, and this is one of my favorite clips of the summer on my GoPro, so I figured I'd share. He's just romping around, having a good time. He likes hunting for blue crabs, baby blue crabs and minnows and stuff, so he goes and checks out these pools and tries to catch minnows, so I wanted to share a glimpse of this with you. Let me know if you want more Wink footage. All right, June 30th of 2023. This dive was a recovery dive initially, so I was going down. EJ had just shot a nice gag grouper, and I was going down following his line to make sure I could get it out. If you see there's a lionfish there, there's a lobster there, and I just wanted to get this fish out first, and then while I'm down there, see what can go down. So that fish is out, I'm good, he's pulling it up, and I see a cobia actually to the left here, and I'm like, all right, cobia, see ya. And then Hayden, my buddy's down there with us, and he's like, you shoot it, and I'm like, you shoot it, and he shot it. I got a chance at the lobster but missed, and then there was a second cobia, which in these federal waters you can catch too. Tried and I missed it, but that's all good. We got the one, and that's what matters. Now this video is July 25th, 2023, and EJ, I mean this hogfish was really close to a world record, just is what our guess is. We never weighed it, but the length of the fish was quite similar to the current world record, I believe held by Bruce Mock. This fish shot probably in within 10 miles of where the current world record was. just some photos of and videos of this beautiful fish.
Yeah. Dude. The spot delivers.
All right, July 26th, 2023. I think I guess I did back-to-back days because these were different boats with different crews. This day I went out and this is probably the craziest dive that's ever happened to me. So I'm going down in a zone we're used to hunting, looking for lobster. Here we go. I found one. I'm stoking. Get it into a position I like and give a grab. Make sure I grab the lobster with both hands, and once I secure it, I'll grab my gun. And I'm just on the way to the surface now. There's a shark in the background. I'm cooling, and what do you know? There's some pretty big African pompano coming towards me. I was confident in my dive, and I gave it a shot. Luckily, my reel wasn't too tight or too loose, so this is working out pretty well for me. And I appreciate having knowledgeable and experienced dive buddies on the surface, because EJ knows exactly what to do. He comes up to me. He says, "Give me the lobster."
Give me the lobster. I got it. You got him? I got it.
Got the fish up after a short fight. Not a bad shot, but not a great shot. At least it's not a lot in the meat. I had to fight for a minute here to get control of the fish. But once I did, brain it, bleed it, gut it.
Thank you. Thank you. You can grab them under by both sides of the shaft or whatever. Whichever one. Under the gills is better. But
Lee Malden, captaining the boat today.
you got him. Now pull him in.
Thank you, Lee. You put us on the fish.
And then I know, dude, that's a nice AP too.
Yeah, nice AP.
Oh, yeah, I saw you grab him. I'm like, he's got a bug. And I saw you extend the got him.
Look at that freaking combo.
What's he doing now?
That's a freaking combo.
Get it.
All right, next dive, August 19th, 2023. I included this video because this is a fish I don't catch often, a king mackerel. We see them around, but I never really go after them. But this was a slower day, and I saw this one swim by, so I took a shot on it. And just something cool to differentiate this video, add new species in. This was probably one of the, I haven't caught too many of these since I don't target them. And although I don't think these are the best eating fish, they do eat decent, and they're pretty good fighting fish, so that's a fun part of this. A decent shot, not really in the meat, so I'm happy, even though his guts are hanging out. They're going to be out of there soon fully. October 9th, 2023, the last dive for this Scamp grouper. So I shoot it. It's not a great shot, but I had a good dive, so I wanted to see if I could get it out of the cave so I don't have to dive twice. I get it out, and then I realize, oh, it's barely in there. So I'm playing the shaft very softly, and I pull him in last minute and bear hug the fish. My shaft falls out, which is crazy. And my gun just gets left down there, so I go to the surface and ask the guys to get my gun. Again, to the testament, look, have good dive buddies is really good.
Cool, somebody can go get my gun. Oh my god, that's the craziest shit ever. I knew it was a bad shot. I had to grab the fish. Yeah, well, they're getting my gun. My gun's on the bottom. I went in, I got him out of the cave with my gun, no spear. I swam up without my gun. I know. Hopefully they get it.
Jim Bar got the gun. Thank you, Jim Bar.
I got it. Thank you. Might be one of my cooler videos I've ever got.
Oh, dude, that's sick. That's a nice one, Chuck.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. If you've watched to this point, you like the video, please like it, actually. And subscribe, too, if you don't mind.
I saw
It'll really help me out.
Broomtail on the way down.
That's size large, son.
Size large.
Size large.
Dude, I cannot believe that.
You can mop that f***ing deck.
Dude, I came up with no gun.
Look at that shit, man.
Dude,
Mark.
have you ever shot a scamp and come up without a gun?
No.
Sorry, Mark, for this footage, but it's funny.
That was nuts. He was like deep in a cave and I went